last year about trying to walk that fine line of trying to implement as much as you want, but also knowing when to hold back. Now, pretty much at the end of the preseason phase of the year, do you feel like you're at a point where you were able to still implement quite a bit of the playbook and still feel that the players were able to grasp it now that most of them have a year experience in this?
Yeah, I feel like we've got in what we need to get in, and then can run variations off of that type of stuff. You know, you had spring ball and then fall camp to be able to do that, and now you're trying to hone in on what you're good at and what players you want on the field and where you want them, and then they can just focus in on a true game plan instead of a full mass install over fall camp. Now you can kind of dive into the details of a true game plan, and it's nice.
Hey, Zach. Chris Carmen, Son of a Source. 2 questions. First is the relative health of your group and kind of maybe how fresh that you anticipate that might be going into this game, especially in light of the weather. And then the second part is how much is scripted for you going into a game like this?
Sure. So I think right now, as far as our health, I think we're doing pretty good with that. Our guys are excited to be into game week. Obviously, we've been practicing each other for a while now. All right, so they're excited to play somebody else and get to face somebody else. So, through this early part of this week is our work week. Our first few days, we're trying to get good work in. We're trying to push them, still get into that game shape, and then later in the week we'll taper down a little bit, and so we can play fast and physical when it comes to game day. And then, what was the second part of your question?
Your approach to scripting.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I mean, you always have an idea of some things you want to get to early on, and maybe things you're going to be either efficient with or you feel really good about. I think every offensive coordinator is that way, wants to get to some early things and show them some different looks and all that. But I think every game you have a few of those that you're detailing up as, this is one I want to start in the first series.
Hang on, Zach, let's let Craig.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, getting creative. Here we go. What's that? Nice. I love it.
Hey, Zach, how excited are you to get things going Thursday? I'm sorry I was out the whole way.
No, you're good.
How excited are you just to get on the field and see what's happened with this team now?
Very, very excited. The players are too. The coaches are extremely excited. I think our fan base is excited just to get back out there, see, fill the stadium up again and feel that energy of game day. Last year was just so different, going out there and playing games in empty stadiums, and you just lacked the energy, you lacked the the vibe, and so as a coach or a player, you crave that, and that's part of what you're doing it for. I mean, is the game day feel and the energy and the all that, and so it'll be really nice getting back into a stadium with fans, and the players are excited to play somebody else instead of going against our defense, and really measure out where we're at.
I was asking some of the guys in the hallway if they watched the game last night on TV, and most of them said, yeah, we watched it all, we watched some. It was a blowout, let's be honest, but how do you keep the guys from getting too inflated, going, we're going to kill these guys, we're going to just walk all over? How do you deal with that in the next couple
Sure,
of games?
we got to keep our focus on ourselves, in our execution, and that's the big thing, because going into a game, sometimes you focus on the opponent too much, and you really just got to focus on yourself, because especially game one, they're going to change their stuff up, and they could be a different defense and try some different things, but as long as we focus on ourselves and our execution and what we do well, and taking care of the football, and just being efficient with our offense, then we feel like we're going to be successful.
Hey, Coach. Zach Keenan, Devil's Digest, ZACH. I noticed a couple players were out there with whether it was stripes on the helmets or logos on the side. Was that on purpose, and earn your stripes thing, or just an equipment?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. You should ask our Jerry. I just go out there and call plays, right? No, I'm not sure what the helmet stuff is for. So.
How you doing, Zach? Dylan Pescatore, Inferno Intel. My question is really about the San Jose State game last night. I'm pretty sure you watched it, you went through it. How much does that change your game plan from yesterday to today, if at all? I mean, we saw their passing attack it went about 400 plus yards, 4 touchdowns. Does that change any type of your scripting or your play calling at all?
Yeah, they did a good job. They've got a good football team, and you can tell they're fast and athletic. And Coach Brennan does a really good job with them, or Coach Brennan. And then, it's a fine line. You don't want to change too much, but you definitely take in some of the information, and you get a chance to see them, in game one. They're going to have. We've got an advantage because they haven't seen us, but they've got an advantage now because they played game one. So there's some give and take to that, as well. They can get some of those game one jitters out and make some corrections, and then, we still haven't hit a game one yet. So, there's a fine line between, the positives and negatives of this scenario. But, no, I think just generally though, our we feel good with our game plan. It verified some things, and now we just go forward. And again, it's about us more than it is about, the opponent right now.
Zach, what are some of the indicators that you like to see in a game one that indicate that you guys are where you would like to be at?
For us?
Yeah.
I got you. So really, if again, going back to just being an efficient offense, if our guys are clicking, if we're not having a bunch of mental errors, if the ball isn't on the ground, we want to do a great job with the ball security. We want to be able to play fast and play physical, and ultimately create some explosive plays, within that. But you look at penalty yardage, you look at mental errors, you look at some of the things that you can control. There's going to be physical mistakes in any game that you can't control, and but we just want to limit the mental errors and taking care of the football, because game one can be it can go so many different ways, and those are some of the big factors.
Hey, Coach, Joey Vaca, Inferno Intel. Now that you're getting ready for a full season, back in the swing of things, what do you think last year with the shortened season meant for a lot of the young guys, especially on offense, in terms of getting acclimated to the college game?
Sure, yeah, just getting used to our offense, and then getting some more experience. We lost a few guys, a year before that, and whether it's the draft or seniors and all that stuff. But just gaining some experience, utilizing those 4 games, and learning more about your players, and them becoming more comfortable in the offense too, with spring ball, with fall camp, with all that stuff.
And then a follow-up to that, how much of last season do you take into consideration when you're coaching these guys? Do you try to tell them that it's going to be completely different, or do you want that experience to factor in?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I mean, every game is different. Every game plan is different. Every team that you're going against is a new challenge and a new week. And so whether it's last year, I mean, you're learning from that. You utilize that experience, but then now it's every week you're game planning for the future, and you're just attacking it 1 week at a time.
Zach, against an opponent like this, if you get the opportunity, are you trying to build confidence in young receivers or other types of guys? Are you doing things that you might not otherwise do early in a game that get guys into a rhythm or feeling good about, just running routes and catching the ball and stuff like that?
Sure, I think going into a game like this, you don't know how it's going to go, so you can have an idea of, let's try to get some guys in the games, get them some experience. But again, you don't know how that game's going to go. So every game is going to be different, and you can't pre-plan, how many reps a guy's going to get and all that stuff. I think you gotta kind of feel the flow of the game. You gotta see where we're at, and if we have the opportunity to be able to play some of the younger guys and get them some experience, that would be great. If that's not the case, then that's not the case.
Zach, I know that you just said a second ago that you didn't know how the game's going to go, but at the same time you want to achieve, certain goals for this week one. Last year you didn't have the luxury, if you will, to keep the playbook pretty wide shut when you play USC for your season opener. Now, obviously, a very different scenario. Are you a big believer in trying to really keep that playbook as tight as possible, not wide open until you really have to, or do you just really not take that in consideration at all?
I guess my philosophy is more we're not gonna hold back. Every game we want to be explosive. We want to have fun. We want to be creative. We want to utilize what we've got. And as last year, you don't know how many games you got. So we're gonna go play it out, and I don't think we're really trying to hold back by any means.
Hey, Zach, back here in the back again. How much further along are you and Jaden just getting on the same page where you were a year ago and now with the practices and time you've had together?
Yeah, very much so. And even watching the game last night, he's texting me thoughts and we're kind of having that dialogue and feel good about the game plan and just, there's just more communication, nowadays with the meetings or whether it's, out of football or, we're just in my office or whatever it is, he understands what we're trying to do as an offense. I can utilize some of the information that he sees and what he feels comfortable with. And I just think there's more of an open dialogue right now, which is a great thing.
How much of that was you kind of understanding what his capabilities and athletic abilities are and mental side, and how much of that was him learning the offense? Is it a combination of both?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both, and understanding what he's good at, what he feels comfortable with, what he struggles with. And then him getting used to my style as well, and then the offense and what he can do within the offense, with that kind of game within a game, whether it's signal adjustments or checks or, whatever we're doing.
How you doing, Zach? There's been a lot of talk about your running back by committee and how you like to control the running game, control the trenches, but I like to talk about the height. I mean, you have Wilson at 6'7", you have Hodges at 6'7". How does that, depend on your red zone calling or just your offensive calling in general, just having that, impact of two guys who really go up and get it?
It's nice to have some big, long bodies that are good receivers. Let's see if we can keep recruiting more. So, you utilize the talents of your guys, whether it's the running back combination, which we feel really good about, with Rashad and Chip and being kind of different styles of backs. And then you got Daniel, Nagata, who's a very versatile back, as well, and we hope to see him, a decent amount in this game too. And then you got the big, tall guys that could be good red zone threats, and trying to utilize them in different ways. But definitely down there in the red zone, you like the tall guys to be able to throw to.
Hi, Coach. Leo Tochterman, State Press. I'm wondering if Southern Utah coming off of a short week impacts how you call the game at all, or if you guys are kind of just doing you, kind of focusing on yourself.
Yeah, it won't impact how we're calling the game. We're just, again, focusing on ourselves and just trying to be precise with what we're doing. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Zach.
guys.